Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and today we're going to be talking about Sanctuary Onslaught, the new game mode that was added in with the Korra update. And I kind of have a love it or hate it relationship with this game mode because the current state that it's in is very poor. The state that it was released in was even worse. But I would be lying to you if I said to you guys that I think that this game mode has potential. So, the gameplay that you're watching is my first run of Sanctuary Onslaught with some of the people from my Discord, like in my clan. And in this setup, we were running 3 Equinoxes plus 1 Nuke Trinity. So the 3 Equinoxes, they all have a main build, which is a combination of Power Strength plus Power Range. So you have your meme, so that's her 4th ability in your day form, covering a wide area and also dealing any damage to enemies that walk into the radius of your ability, and you have 3 of those, right? And every time that you deal an instance of damage with Equinox's 4 meme, you're going to store up all this damage, which you can then re-release and like deal onto all the enemies that are within the radius of your recast, right? So basically what we were doing, we were storing up a bunch of damage as Equinox all at the same time, and then as waves of enemies spawned in, we would hit our meme again to recast it and basically nuke an entire room with one cast of meme, and then we would time that appropriately in the elite mode. Forgot to mention that the game mode that you're watching, or the gameplay that you're watching, is the elite mode. So it's the first run in the elite mode, and it's still pretty easy. But there's a reason for that. The scaling in Sanctuary Onslaught is actually different from the base game. So they have less effective HP in Sanctuary Onslaught Elite compared to, a survival mission. So, they're just going to have a lot less health, which makes the game mode feel a lot easier, which is kind of weird. So, don't really know where I'm going with this video. I just want to talk about the game mode and how I kind of feel about it. So, what I see Onslaught as is kind of it's like a replacement for my focus farming, right? Once I went in and I got all my Vandal parts, because you can get the Bratton Vandal, you can get the Lado Vandal. Once I go in and get all of my parts for those weapons, do you guys see myself playing Sanctuary Onslaught again? And the honest answer is probably no. I play the game enough in a day. I play about 5 or 6 hours a day, live stream on Twitch. And I passively farm up everything else that game mode could give me just by playing the game, right? So I can get my relics from my Hydron runs, I can get Axie relics from Xeni runs, Lift relics from playing ODD and farming mutagen samples, or, whatever the case may be. I get enough relics and stuff just from casually playing. Of course, having Sanctuary Elite Onslaught as like an alternative to farm up Radiant relics is cool and everything, but I don't see myself playing that to farm up relics. That might just be a me thing, and it might also just be because I don't enjoy the game mode that much. Again, just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't really see the difference between Sanctuary Onslaught and my daily focus farm on Adaro using Equinox. It still feels like a chore to me because I'm more or less doing the exact same thing, right? Except on Adaro, I'm using the night form on Equinox to put enemies to sleep and then stealth killing them that way. And it's really chill. It's laid back. I don't really have to play. Like, I don't have to sit forward in my chair and really focus and time my memes correctly and stuff like that. Whereas Sanctuary Onslaught, if I wanted to go full tryhard and farm my focus that way, totally fine. But the thing is, that's not the type of game that Warframe currently is for me. Warframe, for me, currently is a game where I boot it up. It's a really chill, relaxing experience. I can talk to Twitch chat. I can bring people in. I can play pretty much anything with them. Survival, defense, idle and hunts, whatever. I can carry them through it. And that's kind of the game that Warframe is for me. So the fact that I have to kind of try a little bit more than I would have to in Sanctuary Onslaught to get something that I would usually farm with very minimalistic effort is it's different, So I don't know. That's kind of my thought process behind it. Like, Sanctuary Onslaught just seems like another chore to me, right? It's a replacement for focus farming, which I didn't really need, and that's just how I look at the game mode. I don't enjoy it as much because it does just feel like a sped up survival to me. And that's not what I was necessarily looking for. Like, I didn't just want to like murder everything. I guess what we're looking for as kind of experienced players in Warframe is to actually play the game, because that's like a conversation that I have with so many people. Like, they want to play the game, right? So what does playing the game consist of to you as a player? Does playing the game mean mindlessly doing something just for the sake of doing it, or mindlessly using your abilities just for the sake of using your abilities? Or does that mean, you know, something that really engages you and forces you to think a little bit about like the options that you have at your disposal, right? So with the Eidolon fights, they're kind of a good example, but also kind of not a good example, because they force you into a certain playstyle, just like the Sanctuary Onslaught does. So Sanctuary Onslaught basically forces you to use like Equinox Meme plus maybe a Nuke Trinity or whatever, or Saren Spore build, or Vault Discharge, whatever your preference of nuke frame is. It forces you into using those type of nuke frames, right? Where with Eidolons, it's more like, do you want to play a buffer role? Do you want to give your entire team immunity? Do you want to be a healer? You know, there's so many different options that you can talk about or think about whenever it comes to hunting Eidolons as just like a casual Warframe player, I would say. So as you're going through, like, you have your Vault, you can buff up your teammates using Vault. You could even buff up your teammates using Ember. Not the best, but it's still doable because of an augment mod. So there's a lot of different combinations which come into consideration whenever you're doing something like an Eidolon hunt, comparing it to something like Onslaught, where kind of the meta right now, or the only way to get super far, is by using 3 Equinoxes plus a Neutron, because the game mode is so volatile in the sense that you're not always going to get the correct amount of spawns to allow you to progress forward, right? So being able to maximize the amount of enemies you kill in a very short period of time is basically ideal, and it forces you into this playstyle to progress in that game mode, which it's really up to the player whether or not they're okay with that. So Sanctuary Onslaught in itself is a very niche thing, I would say, and it's definitely not going to be for everyone. It's not going to grab people's attention, because it definitely didn't grab mine, and it's not going to keep players hooked like people would expect it to, especially if you're an endgame player. Like, this isn't going to be the answer to all your prayers, right? Like, this isn't going to be the game mode that gets you hooked back in the Warframe. That's definitely not it at all. I think what's kind of missing from it is, back in the day, whenever we used to do T4 defense, T4 survival, the reason we stayed so long in a T4 defense or a T4 survival is because there was like a noticeable risk and reward to every single run. So it kind of made you attached to the one endurance run that you were doing of that survival or defense, right? Because you had your key, and you knew that if you only did 20 waves, you were going to lose like a lot of potential from that one key that you use. Like, you're going to basically be spending that key to do your run. So it made you like at least care a little bit, where with Sanctuary Onslaught, you can kind of just start it up, go to wave 8 to go through all the rotations, so A, B, and C, and then that is pretty much it, right? You have like equal chance at all your rewards, then you can just let your efficiency go down, and then there you go, you rinse and repeat, and then you farm up all your Vandal parts, and there's no real incentive to keep on going deeper in unless you want to, and that's the very niche part about it. Like, you don't have to go deep in. It's all about giving the player the option, which in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? So players have the option whether or not they want to do a short run, or if they want to push themselves and, you know, kind of challenge themselves a little bit to go deeper in, get those high scores and stuff like that. I think what people kind of don't like about it is the fact that even if you do go super far in, it doesn't matter too much, because chances are the people who are either above or below you in the scoreboard did more or less the exact same thing, and your place in the scoreboard doesn't matter too much either. So that is, I would say that's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing else that I can really add to it other than it's not going to be the game mode that restores your enjoyment in Warframe. It's definitely something that you're going to get bored of, because personally I don't like it. On top of that fact, it's littered with bugs. There's a lot that needs to be fixed within the game mode. So Whether or not you want to jump into it right now, it's up to you. And I would say that the only really cool rewards that you can get from it are obviously the Vandals, if you don't have those, the Braton and Lado Vandal, and then the Radiant Relics if you really want those. But like I mentioned beforehand, there's other ways to get those, and I have enough of those just by passively playing. So it would be different if they put new relics behind just Sanctuary Onslaught, but then I feel like they would be going in the same direction that they went with putting the unvaulted relics in the Plain Bounties, right? Nobody really agreed with that. So it'll be interesting to see how they treat, like, later on prime frames and their relics and how you farm them up. Whether or not they're going to make it so that you have to play Sanctuary Onslaught if they force the game on the people, which I realistically doubt. I think of Sanctuary Onslaught kind of like how I think of Lenaro. It was a nice attempt by DE, and the attempts aren't always going to pay off, but at least it was an attempt, which is something that I really respect the company for. Like, they're always trying something new, but to me, this just kind of feels like a sped up version of survival, which forces me to play in a particular way, which isn't what I play Warframe for at the end of the day. So I play Warframe for the fact that I can use pretty much anything I want and still play very effective. And then based off how I'm playing, people can ask me questions about how I played, how I did a certain thing, and then it kind of goes from there, right? That's what I enjoy about the game, and explaining stuff to people and showing people that there's all these different diverse play styles that you can jump into and use is something that really stands out. So it's really hard to sort of ask for a game mode which is built around that fact. Like, there's so many different frames in the game. There's always going to be kind of like this cheese or this meta that you have to do, so it's almost impossible to sort of eliminate that. So it's down to DE what they want to do, and it's also down to DE like the next step in the right direction that they want to take. What I will say to kind of end it though is there doesn't always have to be like a reward for you to play a game mode. That's not what I'm saying at all with this video. I used to be a massive fan of Call of Duty Zombies back in the day, like just doing leaderboard runs, but that was because that game mode was inherently fun in itself. So if DE were able to pull off something which made me have fun and also was challenging in the sense that not everybody can get super high up in the leaderboards, that's kind of what they're aiming for right now. What they could do to provide the players with that, I don't know. I'm not a developer. I studied game design, but I'm not Digital Extremes, and I am definitely in no place to comment on the development of Warframe in any way, shape, or form, because I don't know what they have planned for the future or anything of the sort. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Sanctuary Onslaught, kind of uncut, and yeah, I don't like it. I think they screwed the pitch in this one, and I think the game mode, it's not going to die off, but not a lot of people are going to play it past when they get what they want from it, and then that's gonna be it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button below. Subscribe for more Warframe content, and for more daily videos uploaded at 6 p.m. GMT or BST every single day. And I'll see you guys in the next video.